Hello and welcome to this first game of the first tournament of 2026. It is the 1K tournament where half your list can be flexible. And we can see that it is a matchup between Chiplout and Pixel01. Now, Chiplout has gone for a 1K version of his Rift Zombies list, I guess. That was his basis. And we can see that Pixel01 has gone very, very Newt heavy. Well, let's get back to the game. Now, looking at the lists, what do we see? We see Chiplout. Well, since we're watching from Pixel's point of view, he decides what we get to see. But I see a 7 stack of Dread Knights. That is pretty spicy. It'll be interesting to see how they can do. Now, other than that, he has decided to fill up with some Spearmen, 2 Catapults, and Zombie Giant. Meanwhile, we can see that Pixel has gone for a lot of Newts. These ones with Javelins. Oh wow, that is a big stack of Spearmen he has there over on the Lizard Warriors. And it looks like some shots already were fired because I see a single pterodactyl over there, so I'm guessing he bore the brunt of some catapult shots. Always interesting when people leave their high-value mobile units out to the open. Now, what else? Wolves over on the left side. There is Newt Priest over there. The right side being held by those lizard man spearmen with the toad. And a 4 stack of jungle swarm, like snakes and stuff. That'll be interesting to see what. Alright. You can see that the Rift Knight, the Vampire Knight with the Reality Rift, is over on that left flank in a big stack of whites. What does this mean? Also interesting to see how Pixel's camera doesn't zoom out to look at the entire battlefield, but instead is a bit more zoomed in, denying us that big tactical view. Oh, and interesting that the Giant has charge range onto those Newts. Did he perhaps Unholy Vigor the Giant so that he would be in range? That would be a clever way of doing it. Giants usually do very well against uncharging units. Well, I mean, Newt's only charge with power 3, but still. Alright, here is the elite block. Dread Knights galore. Going 5 wide and 2 deep with them. It is a choice. I mean, I guess he could have gone 6 wide, but it would have affected his ability to maneuver. And in 1K, unlike 500, the map tends to clutter a bit more. Chiplout looking for that tiny spot where he can fit those knights. At least that's what it looks like. Let's see where they end up. One of the joys of live casting is that we get to see exactly how long some of our players think. Now, I'm not one of the fastest players. If you want to see fast players, I guess that would be UK Rocky. he often gets the pleasure of waiting for his opponents. At least that's what he says. Maybe it's all just mind games. Now, in our tournament games, there is actually no hard time limit. So that is something I, of course, would want to be added, because in tournaments you suddenly have this infinite time to think, which you don't get to have in ranked. And I do think the time pressure should be there to a certain degree. Like, give people time to think and do their move, but when we can take 10 minutes for a move, that's too much. So I don't know if we need to implement a clock or something, but maybe if we all petition the developer of SOVL that he can add it as like a toggle for multiplayer games. Alright, so what do I think about this? The can openers are over on the right, and that's where the Dread Knights and the Zombie Giant is. I would say it looks pretty good so far for the Reptile Kingdoms player. Of course, the Rift Vampire hasn't moved yet, and that can possibly throw all of this into disarray. Now, let's have a look. Last move. Very interesting. But it just... never mind. Let's see what happens. Where do you put it? You're a fast-moving... Oh, he doesn't rift this turn. Instead, he vigors the Dread Knights, giving them a charge on everything over on the right. I guess that is the plan. Just face charge the... Just face charge the Reptile Kingdoms player and keep Pixel off the objective while he gets to be on the objective. Wait, there is no objective on the left? So they're all they're all just putting all these units over on the left side for no reason? I didn't even notice that. That is kind of hilarious. I mean, if there's javelins on those Newts, I would 100%... Okay, do you flee this one? I would flee this one, because they will be hitting on 2-ups. Or wounding on 2-ups. Alright, he flies in with... That's a choice. Pixel, what? Why are you doing this? So, my thoughts on this is that with the objective over on the right, I would just keep my flyer in the back and wait for a back flank or charge to be available. So instead, he has committed his caster over on the left flank into a fight that might very well kill all his bodyguards. Okay, he's got an extra one, but still, he's very much away from his protection. So, well, I guess he just wanted to fight with his priest. Let's see if those Saurian spears do differently. Alright, Pixel moving them up, taking care to not put himself in a position where he can be flanked by those zombies. Also threatening a flank on those Dread Knights. He shrouds himself, which is the right play. I think. Oh, what? What do you do? What? Okay. Good. Scaring me there. The catapults shoot on the snakes. The snakes are 6 up saves, so they're very efficient against them. Fascinating. Okay, they have to remember that the vampire with the rift, with the whites and the rift spell possibly can come over to this side on very short notice. And on 1k, the objective is not as important as in other smaller 500, etc. So while my instinct is to, of course, fight over the objective, it might not be too good to go overboard on it. Let's see. Looks like Chiplout forgot to widen his units on that Necromancer. Very interesting. Well, let's see how Chiplout responds to the Newt priest being very gung-ho over on the left side there. Newt's skirmishers not able to find an angle on the giant. Will they find a little gap? I mean, there might be a gap in between of them. Oh, he does find an angle on the giant. That's a lot of hits and 2 wounds even. That's quite lucky. Alright. Dogs move before the vampire one and the rift lights. Rift lights just moving forward. Being very patient with his rift activation here. And wait, he doesn't have rift, he has... Huh. I was sure his list showed rift. I'm gonna look it up right now. Getting 2 wounds on the giant, not too bad. Yeah, I can see his real says that it's 14 white guard and reality left on it. See what happens. Giving up rift for for reanimate. Not something I would do, at least. Dude braves. Bravely turning around. Looks like last move will be on these wolves. Will he try to get around and into a back charge, or will he just accept a flank charge? And it looks like the jungle swarm is too far away to get into the back of those wolves. Which at least if he wants to get around them. Pixel, you have to stay out of the forest if you want to do that. The constant wiggling, looking for that one perfect angle, that one perfect spot. Six hits, 5 wounds from the Dread Knights. 4 wounds in return. And the bruisers lose by 1 and run. Newt Priest. 1 wound onto the wolves. Wolves rip a new one onto the Newt Priest. Runs into the safety behind his jungle swarm. It was all part of the major of the maneuver. Now the question is, is there nothing that can flank? Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. That's an important thing you have to remember. When these units fight, you have to take into consideration that the units just might die. You know, he positioned his spear troops in a way where so that if 2 of those Red Knights went down, he wouldn't be able to flank them. A lesson to be learned. If you wanted to flank the Dread Knights, of course, which I would definitely want to if I was him. 50 points from the objective. 4. Triple out. And the skirmishers get Primal Fury to try to chew through some more of the Dread Knights. Alright. Left flank looking very, very good for triple out. Of course, the whites with reanimate instead of rift. Gets a big reanimate there. Braves go down. So, do those Braves get into the flank of those Dread Knights though? That is the question. It's always very nice when your Dread Knights get to straight up charge things. They feel so powerful then, especially backed up with reanimate. looks like the zombie giant is getting ready to position himself so that the fire lizard can pass on the left and then sort of try to get into the flank of the lizardman. Oh, but he instead is choosing to just go forth and body block the fire lizard, it looks like, which is also a good, maybe even safer choice. 5 wounds left on the giant. Good rolls, but only 1 wound. And fire lizard moving into position to side charge something. Lots of unitary 1k. So how does this look? The zombies are gonna probably not kill anything, and then they end up losing a few, but then they kill pterodactyl raiders. Now the bruisers losing that combat against the Dread Knights and then not having a side flank ready on them really put Pixel on the back foot here. Does look like Chiploud is able to capitalize on that. So now vigors himself to try to get his elite fight force in there. Putting himself in range of the Braves. And the Braves. Interesting choice to take that combat or set up for that combat with the Braves, but fair enough. The Wolves are the units with moves left to go. Oh, the catapults do shoot. Pick off 2 more wounds off that jungle swarm. Only there was no reason to move before time here. And it looks like Pixel has the right idea. But does he have the space needed to position himself? Well, he does deny a back charge from the skeletons, I guess. But it probably will just... maybe there's not enough room there for the wolves to fit in on the back of that shaman. It's all playing out according to Pixel's plan. Hit and run. But the big issue, of course, is the right side here, where it does look like it's gonna be a very hard time for the Reptile Kingdoms to stop the detonation momentum. Now, chill out. Thinking. And Pixel just staring at the right side of the board. 4 wounds left on the giant. Only 6 hits, but 6 wounds from the Dread Knights. 2 up saves from for those Dread Knights though, so they only take 1 wound back and win hard. Newt discipline failing them. Alright, 1 hit from the zombies, gets a kill, and that means a flank is coming in from the zombies onto the toad. Things are falling apart fast here. Indeed, falling apart fast here. Newt's flying into the Dread Knights. More chaff for them to chew up. The wolves do manage to get a side charge on the priest. And it looks like it is combat on all fronts here. Or are the Braves fleeing? No, the Braves go in. Interesting. Chiplout. Letting him charge off the objective but get a fair fight against the zombies there. Well, let's see if the Reptile Kingdoms can rally their units, keep themselves alive. Cruisers. Preparing for a side charge here, seeking cover from the catapult. Chiplout, taking his time, summoning up some more zombies, and wild form being cast on the Newt there. One Primal Fury left to use before he has to refresh. Skirmishers rally. With the favorable combats and the objective, looking very much like he's on his way to victory. Choosing to activate Ancient Knowledge instead of using Primal Fury this round. Interesting choice. Guess he feels this turn he has no good targets for it, while next turn he would very much like to use it. Where? Chiplout, slowly placing his wolf back, going into a flank. Alright, let's see how it pans out. 2 wounds onto the Fire Lizard. Fire Lizard 6 backs with 3, but Giant saves it all. 6 armor is a godsend, and the Fire Lizard runs. In the battle against the zombies, the Power Forward Swordsman take no wounds, and they deliver 6. This is the kind of power the Lizardmen need to win this. Braves going up against the Dread Knights manage to do 1 wound, take 5, and they run. It's a disaster. Finally, the Vampire Knight getting into combat with her lead guard. 9 hits, 6 wounds, that's 8 wounds. These Newts are also gonna end up running. And then finally, Wild formed up, takes down a dog, or a wolf. Oh, good saves there. Losing only by 1, but you want to flee here. And he gets lucky and flees. Swarm does a bunch of wounds, but takes a bunch of wounds. But they hold fearless as they are. Alright, so how is this gonna pan out? The Bruisers gonna go into the Dread Knights. They're not gonna be able to run. Let's see. The zombies are probably gonna kill themselves fighting the lizard spearmen over there. Spearmen are gonna mop up that jungle swarm. I mean, especially if you send the wolves to help them up. The Newts in the forest probably they get forgotten. That would be lucky for him. Maybe he's choosing to not engage them right away. Primal Fury on the Bruisers, really wanting to open that up those Dread Knights. And Chiplout keeping his zombies back, understanding that he doesn't have to go in now. Just have to keep him off the objective. Only 2 turns left and the battlefield very much in shambles for the Reptile players. I guess it is the safe choice. We can see the whites walking over. Even with their short range, probably catching up to the priest. Pixel, making us live in wonder, not showing us the charge range. And his priest rallies. Chiplout probably doing his very best to stay out of charge range from the Braves. Oh, Catapult's finding a target on the Newts in the forest. Oh, and the Fire Lizard fails his test. As the stones keep on raining down on the Braves. Only 6 of them left now. As this battle is turning into a massacre. Skirmishers turn around, fire and pick up some zombies. Positioning himself in a manner where he probably gets flanked by the zombie giant. Or maybe the zombie giant just goes straight up. Ignores him. The battle continues. Alright, the spearman cleaned up the zombies. And the spearmen clean up the snakes. 1 to 14. It's a victory. Now, will the bruisers... No. Well, they do 3 wounds. They take 2. Dice. It's enough to make the Dread Knights grumble, but that's not by a lot. Oh. The Newts do end up in range and get the first charge against the whites, saving the priest from getting back charged. Where does he go with his priest? Into the side of the zombies? I mean, that's what you gotta do, right? Contest that objective. Wolves go into the newts in the forest. Back charge onto the lizard men spear troop. So, that is a fight that the lizardmen can win. They should have rerolls on discipline, being bodyguards and all. And the discipline on the toad is really good. So. What? Oh, primal fury. I mean, why? Why? Alright, keep primal furies. There was 5 Newt skirmishers there. 2 of the catapults. Gotten a lot of value out of them in this game, check out. I say either it's sloppy play by his opponent, or well catapult played by Chiplout. Looks like he's going for... Yeah. Pixel is sending his skirmishers up, trying to get them out of the charge arc of the Dread Knights, so he can flank them without getting flank bagged. Takes 4 more hits, gets 1 save, 1 lone survivor. And Primal Fury is the brute. I mean, maybe not the worst idea. You have to remember, in these games, points also matter. The more of your opponent's army you take down, the better. I'm very curious if that zombie giant is gonna live or die. If it goes down, that is another 100 points. If enough zombies go down to the priest, it's even more. And there is a chance the giant spikes, gets 4 wounds in it. Alright, last bruiser. 1 man. Power 6, getting 3 hits. Does 2 wounds, kills a knight. 5 hits back, and he goes down. Oh, unfortunate. That is quite unlucky. Vampire Knight. 0 wounds. Newt Braves. Getting a wound on the whites. The whites smack him down. And they run. Do they run out of range, though? That is a problem that slow and dead sometimes have. They can't really catch up in one turn. What? The Braves hold? Alright, here's the moment. Can he chew through enough zombies? Getting 5 out of 5 possible wounds, taking nothing in return. But it's a small crumble. It's gonna be very tough to clear out those. Oh, 3 hits, 2 wounds. That means a 9 or a lower to hold. See, like, these guys are pseudo-fearless. It's, skirmisher going into the side of the Dread Knights? Okay. I mean, it's a gamble, I guess. But I think I would have rather sent them into the side of the... Well, and the Newts that fled were out of range. Oh no, there's no more. There's no more. Primal Fury left. Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, 1 final beast wild form. Let's see if that priest... Oh, the Newt's rally. That's some more points. Alright, what are we looking at here? If the giant goes down, some points if the zombies go down. I mean, it can still swing like 200 points or more. But I'm pretty sure those Newt skirmishers were safer charging into the side of the giant and into the side of those Dread Knights. I mean, they were already below half, so he's not gonna get that big run. Oh, only gets one win on the zombies. 3 hits from... Oh, 2 more. Oh, no, there's 4 zombies left. Oh, unfortunate. And the last... Oh, it's a triple, and there's only 1 zombie left. Oh, that's so close. Would have been so huge. Alright, 1 wound on the giant. Giant, 3 hits. Does 2 wounds. Spearman, only 5 hits. And he saves them all. Oh, zombie giant. He stays alive. Alright. Let's see how Mr. Skirmisher can do. Does get a hit. Does not wound. Does get smacked down. That was a 250 point swing there on the last turn. Could have gone different. But overall, a very decisive victory for Chiplout. Well played, and hope you guys enjoyed watching this game.